let's go. Just got to the airport, just got through security. We're going to Toronto, going to shoot a vlog, going up the CN Tower. I'm really excited for this one. I think it's gonna offer you guys a lot of value. So let's get this show on the road. Let's go to Toronto. Yeah, I'm excited. We made it! Let's go up and check it out. I'll tell you one thing. The CN Tower in Toronto stands out. It stands out above the skyline, stands out as an icon across Canada. People recognize it around the world. Now, how do you take that? How do you stand out just like that for your brand and for your social media presence? Let's discuss. I'm not doing the edge walk today. I think I'm gonna have to come back to do that. It looks really, really cool. But for this time, we'll have to leave it out of this one. Just like almost every observation deck, you start off with taking a photo, which you never wanna buy. Observation decks, stop doing that. Did that smile look real?
Thank you. Bring it to the gallery downstairs.
Remember, if you sell, you lose. Now, I did buy a ticket that was $15 more to go up to the Sky Pod, which is 100 meters higher than the 360 observation deck at the top. So I think that's gonna be pretty cool. They said that there is no time limit today. So far, I'm very impressed. The glass is clean, which at a lot of observation decks is not the case. It almost looks slightly tinted. It makes all the colors pop out from the skyline. I'd be interested to know if it actually is. But it is busy, just like we expected. A tourist attraction that stands out like this, that stands above the skyline and attracts all of the attention, stands out above the noise. Of course it's busy. I love the sitting areas. I love the tables. I love that they didn't give a time limit. I love that everyone seems to be having fun. You can feel that people are excited to be up here. They got Christmas music playing right now, creating an atmosphere, creating emotions. On the way in, they told a story. They told us the history of the tower. They do all of the things that I talk about that provide value. And that value equals why the CN Tower stands out. I'm gonna head up right now to the tallest observation point in all of North America. It's a lot smaller, it's a lot tighter, and it's really quiet. There's not many people up here. This is my style, I love this. They just said I believe it was 147 stories above the ground. It's a little bit more primitive up here, but really cool. It's cool observation going down. One of the cool tips that the guy said in the elevator was, if you stand still at this height and just look out at the horizon, you can actually feel yourself swaying a little bit. So I'm gonna test that theory out. I decided to stay up here a little longer just to discuss history. Social media has a lot to do with history. We find that a lot of creators, when they start to create right at the beginning, they're hoping that everything they post gets a ton of engagement and everyone right away is going to just get involved with their page and their content. And unfortunately, that's not the case. What we've noticed is building a history is absolutely integral to creating engagement. People want to see that you've been around for a while, that you've been putting the effort in for a long time. The first 3 posts you make might go out and might get some engagement, but then they start to fade off because that novelty wears off. After that, it's about creating value over a long period of time in order to build your brand. The same thing that happened at the CN Tower. After it got built, it stood above Toronto. It was the tallest building in the world. It created history, it created a buzz, it created a brand that continues to today with everybody that's here and everybody that wants to come visit this magnificent landmark. Once that history is developed, then it's about validating the presence. Validating the presence comes along with creating that engagement post after post, so that every time someone sees your content, they watch it longer. If you get that watch time, if you get that engagement, then the algorithm's going to take notice and your content is going to get a larger organic reach over time on every post you make. Your page is going to uprank. Now, if you keep posting content that has no value, then you start to derank. Again, look at the CN Tower, look at any landmark anywhere. If you start to have bad reviews online, if people start to put a negative light on your brand, then less traction comes from it. You have to keep providing value, and time in and time again, you have to be able to stand out. Once you've developed a history and you're starting to validate your posts, it's about doing it consistently over a long period of time. YouTube is a perfect example. If you create YouTube videos and you're starting to get engagement, you're starting to get watch time, but then you post 20 videos that get no engagement, no watch time, provide no value, your audience disappears, then your content's gonna start to get recommended less. And that works the same across all platforms. If you're gonna stand out, if you're gonna stand out above the noise, you have to have a history, you have to validate and get that engagement, and then keep producing that consistently over a long period of time. Producing bad content, getting those lower results is going to slowly derank you on any platform. It doesn't matter what it is. So make good content, stand out, don't put out any noise, don't put out any fluff. It's going to help you take your presence and your digital platforms to the next level. Don't want to leave, but we're gonna go back down. It's gonna be a little noisier. Gonna go try to see the glass floors, check out more of this. Absolutely beautiful. All right, I'm laying on a glass floor over 100 floors above the ground. And this is what social media is all about. You have to have something that stands out, something that makes you different. I've been to a lot of observation decks around the world, and there is one at the Willis Tower. I believe that broke a couple years ago, which wasn't so good for PR. I've been to a lot of observation decks in the world, and not all of them have glass floors. Not many of them are like this, where it's so high and you can see the base of the building right below you. You see the ground. Be different. Make sure that you find your niche. Be different. Make sure that you find your niche and then stick to it. Stick to making content that works. Scale the content that works. And then keep creating and correcting by making different content so that you can keep learning what your audience is looking for. Remember, 6 months, every 6 months, social media changes, sometimes even faster. Remember that every 6 months, social media changes, sometimes even faster. You can't plan out content that far in advance. What you're doing now might not work 6 months from now. So, scale content that's working while still creating and correcting and finding content that's going to work for you in the future. Definitely one of the busiest observation decks I have ever been to. All right, we're running out of light really fast, but because I was allowed to have the GoPros up here, I'm gonna try a couple night time lapses on the GoPros with the night time lapse mode. I'm gonna try to point it at Toronto, see what kind of shots I can get. Then I'm gonna get out of here and go to the hotel and try to wrap this whole video up after we get to the base of the CN Tower. I wanna see it light up at night, so I'm gonna go down, we'll go near the Canada sign in the square and take a couple pictures, edit them, and see what we can put together for this episode. All right, I stayed up in the CN Tower way longer than I expected, but they lit it up with colors on the outside. Going down to take pictures now, it's almost like they knew that I like this glow for my digital tip videos. Let's go down and take some cool shots outside. Just exiting now. Overall, great review of the CN Tower. Couple cons, really expensive. Like really expensive. Another one is they do try to sell you like the other ones on the photo as well as in the shop at the end, which I don't like, but that's okay. If I had to choose, I still would fly to see the Empire State Building or go to the Burj Khalifa before the CN Tower. However, if you're in Canada and you are in the Toronto area, it's a must-see. You gotta do it once. It is a Canadian landmark. People around the world recognize it, and it was a fantastic experience to be upstairs, be over 100 floors above the ground. All right, guys, I hope there's enough light here. I'm gonna try to wrap up this episode. First of all, if you are doing anything on social media, remember that the CN Tower represents standing above the noise, stands above the Toronto skyline. When you're making your brands, make a history. Focus on that history first so that when people come to your page, they see that you've been doing it for a long time. You're just not a one-hit wonder. Then after that, you have to validate. A couple posts being validated is great, But lastly, create that validation over a long period of time. You're creating an audience and a brand that keeps engaging with you, keeps watching your content. You're going to try to keep them watching your content and paying attention longer. That's going to allow the social algorithms to take that content organically further. Your reach is going to extend and you're going to be able to build your audience bigger and bigger over time. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I had a lot of fun making it. Once again, CN Tower, great. Really, really fun. And if you're in the Toronto area, you have to check it out. Next time, I'm going to try to go outside and do that little rail around where you're connected, looking right over the edge of the CN Tower. If you got any value from this episode, make sure you tell me in the comments below or smash that like button. I'm trying to correct and make content better and better like this every single day. That's all, guys.